Welcome to the second and last installment of this year's Vlogmas. I promised you one last episode in front of the Christmas tree, and here we are. December has been crazy busy this year, so I'm so happy that I decided not to do Vlogmas, because it would have been impossible. I'm working 3 days a week, hence the no makeup. I wear makeup to work, and my skin needs to breathe on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I have a couple of things left to bake for Christmas. One of them is the kamkake, and I'm waiting until Thursday doing that because my youngest son comes here late Thursday night, and then he can have some freshly made kamkake for supper when he gets here. The last thing I need to bake are his favorite cookies, and this year he's going to help me make them. The light is a bit better this time because I figured that I have a work light that's LED. That's actually the thing I'm using now because I still can't find the cable for my ring light. I'm going to look properly for it, but not now, because I have lots to do even on my days off. I have all 3 cats in the room with me, so hopefully nothing is happening while I'm recording. The Christmas tree is decorated. I did that on Sunday, 3rd Sunday of Advent. Because we have an artificial tree, I sort of wanted to decorate it a bit earlier, because I'm normally so sick of Christmas early January that I thought, what if I start a bit earlier, because I love December, I love Advent, so why not have the Christmas tree early? And I'm waiting with everything else until the day, not the day before Christmas, but the day before that, because the day before Christmas, 23rd, because we call 24th Christmas, because that's Christmas Eve, and that's when the celebration starts in Norway. Because I work the day before Christmas, and I don't want to start decorating the house when I get home, so I'm doing it the day before. But my youngest son is here already then, so when I get home from work the day before Christmas, Christmas starts. And I'm going to have myself a glass of wine or something and feel the Christmas spirit really take hold, because I've been a bit busy this December, so I haven't been able to sort of feel it properly. Not a lot else to say about life stuff, other than that I've actually decided to start podcasting again. I'm going to start recording again in January, I guess, but next year it's not going to be on a fixed schedule. Sorry. As you know, English is my second language, as if you couldn't tell. But once or sometimes maybe twice a month, depending on if I have something I have the time, if I'm working on something, if I've finished something, stuff like that. So I'm going to podcast next year. Because I'm not going to put any pressure on myself to do it on set dates. I'm also doing some really heartbreaking stuff when it comes to make-alongs, because I love doing the make-alongs, but there's a lot of stress with the make-alongs. Getting the prices, drawing the prices, shipping out the prices. So I'm going to keep up the fluff to stuff with 2 price drawings, one in June and one in December. And I'm going to do the Arctic Summer of Socks, because I love that make-along. So those are the 2 make-alongs that will stay with us in the new year. Just the Arctic Summer of Socks and the fluff to stuff. And speaking of fluff to stuff, I've been spinning quite a bit this year, and I actually today bought an eel wheel. For those of you who are not spinners, an eel wheel is an e-spinner, and it wasn't cheap. Trust me, it wasn't cheap, but I really wanted one because it's more portable, I think, than my Kiwi, and it's more silent. I can sit on the couch and doing it with the e-spinner on the coffee table. So I ordered one today, and I was so thrilled to realize that Ulveig, my favorite Norwegian fiber dyer, sells them, because then I could spend some money in her shop. And I sent her a note saying, no need to send this before Christmas. Both you and the postal service have more than enough to do. Speaking of postal service, me and Sue weren't able to exchange Christmas presents this year because the Canadian Postal Service have been on strike. They're not on strike anymore, but the Christmas presents wouldn't be here before Christmas anyway. So we decided to make it a New Year's present instead. So we're sending them in January. January is a long, cold month, so nice to have something to look forward to. So I'm going to show you a bit of what I've been doing when it comes to Advents. I'm not showing you the entire thing because I couldn't be bothered. That sounds terrible. I have a fiber Advent, and I'm going to show you just a few of them. Because what I'm doing with my fiber Advent, sorry about that, snowplow. What I'm doing, I'm spinning and plying day by day. So I'm going to end up with 24 tiny little skeins of hand spun at the end. And at any one time I have spun singles ready for plying, plied singles ready for the niddy-noddy, and a skein on the niddy-noddy ready for skeining up. So it's spread over several days, but I managed to do everything every day except for Saturday because we went on a day trip. So I spun the single for the day. I spun the fiber for the day in the morning before we left, and then I never got around to plying the day before that. So on Sunday I plied 2 singles, and then I was back on track. So that's my fiber Advent. I'm thinking about doing a cowl, a scrappy style cowl, striped. As easy as that, because I want to use everything in one project, and I think it would be enough for a cowl. I haven't measured the wraps per inch or the yardage, but I'm going to measure a couple of them and go by sort of approximate numbers. And if I'm doing a cowl, I'll just cast on and keep on knitting until I run out of yarn. I just have to check the circumference. Because if I have lots of yarn, I have to have a wider circumference or it will be too long. I don't like cowls that are too long. They bunch up too much around my neck. Other Advents I'm doing, I'm so far behind on. But I'm not bothered because it's not a proper Advent, because I bought the yarn throughout the fall from Beehive Yarns. She sells these mystery bundles of 6 minis, and she color coordinates them, sort of. I didn't realize that until I bought them, but she sort of color coordinates them. And she sells them in bundles of 6. I bought 4, and I sort of, I'm not sure the word to use, but I spread them out over several months to keep the price down. So I know what all the minis look like, so it's not a surprise as such. But I had plans on knitting an Advent project, doing one mini a day. As I said, I'm far behind. So I'm going to keep this as a project in the new year as well. These are the 6 first minis, and you can see that they're color coordinated. It's sort of a blue-purple bundle. And this is the day. One of these each day. You're supposed to do one of these each day, but I got behind, and then I realized as soon as I was behind, I sort of didn't care as much if I caught up. So this is going to be a project that's going to continue into the new year. I'm going to connect these with handspan. I have a handspan with that I spun from fiber I got from Ulvey, and that's the yarn I'm going to use for the main color, or the color that you join the squares with. And it's I think it's you make even if the pattern doesn't say so. I haven't checked the pattern, but I think there's a edge in that color as well. I should have checked that before I pressed record, but I'll put up a picture of the finished blanket, so then we can see, all of us, if there's an edge or not. And I actually cast on something new last night because I finished hubby's Christmas present. And here's a picture of him wearing it. He doesn't look happy, but that's just because I'm taking his picture. I put the sweater, I blocked the sweater and put it out to dry on the bathroom floor. That's usually what I do with sweaters, because then they're lying flat and we have underfloor heating in our bathroom, in our entire apartment actually, but in our bathroom. So it dries as well and it lies flat. And he woke me up the morning after, yesterday actually, because I blocked it during the weekend, and he woke me up on his way out the door yesterday to tell me I'm wearing my new sweater. He had checked. It was dry, he was going to wear it, and it looked really good on him. The picture is taken after we got back later in the day, so he had worn it for several hours. And he's wearing it again today, and he's probably going to wear it until I wrestle it from him to freshen it up a bit, because he's extremely knit-worthy when it comes to both sweaters and socks. So I really love the sweater, how the sweater looks on him as well. The fit looks good on him. So I think I'm going to knit him. Maybe I should tell you what the pattern is. It's the Gib 2 by Andrea Mowry. And I like the way that sweater fits him. So I think I'm going to knit him another one, but maybe plain knitting and not the cable in the raglans, just a plain sweater, but then maybe use yarn that's a bit more exciting. Or I could of course do a different textured pattern. The pattern sort of was, I got stressed when I realized that it was more pearls than knits in the pattern, but then I realized I could always turn it inside out and knit it from the wrong side, and that made everything much easier. So I've knit the entire thing from the inside and just turned around when I was doing the rib. So that's a tip for anybody else who really want to do the Gib 2. Knit it inside out, then you're doing more knits than pearls. I cast on a new project last night. I saw on Instagram that my other favorite designer, Isabel Kramer, had put out a shawl and knit on 6mm needles, and she used a chunky mohair, or not chunky but big mohair, and 6mm needles. And for a shawl I don't mind a loose gauge. Excuse me. And I had several balls left of this yarn. I knit a sweater of this yarn, and I have several balls left. This is what the yarn looks like. And I decided to knit this, and I'm doing the 6mm needles, and it's not too loose, and because it's the yarn is fluffy and it's got a halo, it works on a loose gauge. And this is going to be so cozy and nice because it's a rather big shawl. And I have lots of yarn. I haven't looked at the pattern, but I think it's the sort of pattern where you can keep on knitting if you have more yarn. So this might be even bigger because I have more yarn than I need. I wanted to do some crochet for Advent, but I've been busy. Working 3 days a week has sort of killed my mojo a bit. I tend to do as little as possible when I'm not at work. In December I have to do stuff 3 days I'm not at work because I have to prepare for Christmas. I can't just sit on the couch crafting all day. Hopefully that is going to change in the new year, because in the new year I'm going to be on call in the shop. So I'm not going to work as much as I do now. And that means I can start podcasting again, hopefully. So that's sort of what I had. This isn't going to be long, but then again, it's sort of a vlogmas. I'm starting podcasting again in January, and then we'll be back to the normal, maybe show and tell, whips, FOs. And again, I'm drawing prizes for the Fluff to Stuff January 1st. Announcing the winners, I'll reach out to the winners on Ravelry. And there will a new year of Fluff to Stuff is also starting January 1st, Fluff to Stuff 2025. And there will also be an Arctic Summer of Socks next summer. And those are the only make-alongs I'm doing next year. So I'm slowly getting back on track when it comes to podcasting. So the only thing left for me to do now is wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'll see you back here in 2025.